It's time!
Welcome to the Touching Gloves podcast. Here are your hosts, Ben and Dos.
Oh, Benno!
We're back.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Dos. I'm good. Weather's good. I'm good. Done a lot of training in the last 24 hours.
Yes, do tell.
The dad bod's getting on top of me, mate.
Really?
I've enjoyed it for 12 months. I say it's probably been closer to 6 years. But yeah, it's time to whip it into shape, mate.
You gotta whip it good.
Whip it real good.
Your new nickname is Devo.
Oh, I'm down. That's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So you're trying to get the dad bod gone.
Yes.
It almost sounds like a name of a program. Get the dad bod gone.
I'd buy that program.
I'd pay $7 for it at least.
Weekly subscription.
So, yeah, weekly subscription. I think it's a fair amount.
Yeah.
That's the price of what? 2 coffees? Maybe one if you live in Toorak?
Or 7 if you go to 7-Eleven for a dollar coffee.
$7 coffee. What?
Yeah.
They want people to be addicted, don't they?
They do. It's just pure free caffeine.
Right.
They're giving it away. They don't care.
They don't care. They just want your business.
No.
They want to upsell you. So talk to me, Benno. You get tired today. You've been doing some martial arts.
Yes. So I had cricket training yesterday afternoon.
Great.
Threw some absolute heat down in the nets.
Did you?
Oh, mate, just call me Brett Lee.
Did you yell it out as you were saying it? Were you like, he's bringing the heat?
I called it at the start of training. I said, boys, you're in for a rough one.
You watch out. There'll be a
I'm
bit of pace on this.
not eat a fuck spiders, all right? It's
Yeah,
going to be
absolutely.
coming full chili.
Did you have 11 wheat bix before it, like Brett Lee?
The most wheat bix I've ever eaten is actually 8. I don't know how the man does 11.
You need to ramp that up.
It's the bowl structure. I don't know how you stack them in the bowl to 11. It's just
You got to crush them. You get a big bowl.
Then I feel like a child. I may as well just have oats.
You get a big bowl. You crush them up. You let them go, and you do the whole 11 like Brett Lee.
I can't.
If you want to bring the thunder.
All right. Okay. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll eat 11 wheat bix during the next episode.
I would love to see that. Feel free to put 10 likes on this video.
I may even just record a small video of me just powering through 11 wheat bix and upload it to the page.
Mate, I'll cheer you on if you do it.
All right, done. Easy.
We can do a live video. Sort of.
Done.
That escalated
Don't twist me
real
on
quick.
too much. Yeah. Didn't take much. Convinced it did it. No, sorry. Yeah. And then I went out to a new kickboxing gym.
Yes.
Out in Stratford. I've never been there before. I was recommended to it by one of the lovely ladies in my workplace. Her partner is the trainer out there. Yeah, and it was great. It was awesome. Had a great time. I realized my gas tank is 0.
Really?
So Cardio Ben, that's who's coming back this year.
Cardio Ben, bring him back. I can't wait.
But Dos,
Yes,
we
mate.
are not here to talk about my dad bod or eating wheat bix.
We're not. We're here to talk about the 2 men behind us. But first, let's just touch on what happened yesterday, day before.
Yeah,
I think it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday, actually.
The fight between Michael Chiesa, Neil Magny.
Michael Chiesa and Neil Magny. We called it as a good fight for what are they? For welterweights.
We did call
Both
it.
up and comers. Especially Chiesa. He's really just starting to put everything together, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's not, at this point, like he's been around for a long. They've both been around for ages.
What was he like? Ultimate Fighter 5 or 6 or something, wasn't he?
I don't think it was quite that long ago.
Or was he
but
closer
it
to
was
like 8 or 9 or something?
maybe
like
around, closer to 10.
that? Yeah. Okay.
But he had a bit of a patchy time in the lightweight division, but at welterweight he's now 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's his normal weight class anyway. He looks good there. I
looks
thought at lightweight
awesome,
he looked like that, almost like a Donald Cerrone, tall but really thin.
It was too light for him.
Yeah, as opposed to welterweight where he's probably not trimming down too much to actually make that. So he probably makes it pretty comfortably, and he looks a lot quicker and a lot stronger as well.
Neil Magny's no slouch, and Chiesa dominated him.
I mean, Neil Magny's been on a bit of a rise as well.
Mm.
The last 12 months. So
yeah. Well, that begs the question: who's next then? Who's next for Chiesa?
All right. Well,
What do you reckon?
Got it, Dos. So, Chiesa going into that fight was number 8 in the welterweights.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's above him?
All right. So, you've got Damian Maia, Tyron Woodley,
Yep.
Wonderboy, Jorge, Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns, and Colby. So, Gilbert Burns is already fighting Usman. That's done.
Yeah.
I did see who called out. Someone called out Colby Covington the other day.
It was. Oh, it's Chiesa. Chiesa called him out.
Yeah, that's where I heard it. That makes sense. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Chiesa finished the fight and said basically he believes that Covington would be his toughest fight, which I agree. And I think Covington actually smokes him.
Yeah, I think Covington, demolishes him, to be fair. Not that Chiesa, I just don't see Chiesa winning that fight.
And I don't see them giving Covington to Chiesa yet. Just because of, Covington's still really high up in the ranks.
Well, he's number 1. He's literally,
he's right there.
Number 1.
He's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
So I think someone like, even just a Damian Maia.
I think a Damian Maia. I think even maybe a Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
But in the same time, it's like, do you put maybe Leon Edwards against Wonderboy? Wonderboy coming off a loss. Leon Edwards isn't scheduled to fight anyone. Oh, sorry, Wonderboy coming off a win.
Yes.
Leon Edwards not scheduled to fight anyone. Does make a bit more sense with 3v5 as opposed to 3 versus 8.
Yep.
Especially because Neil Magny's only ranked 9. So it wouldn't be as big a jump up if he was just to fight Damian Maia maybe. Even Tyron Woodley, because they're 6 and 7.
Yeah, and Tyron Woodley, they're both a hell of a test. Damian Maia has contended for the middleweight title back when he was a middleweight fighter.
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley was obviously the welterweight champ for some time.
Yeah.
Both of them are big tests.
Great tests. Stark differences as well. You've got Woodley wrestling stand-up or Maia wrestling defense and jits, basically.
Yeah.
So
and you've got the bombs, the T-bombs.
Yeah. I actually think Maia would probably be a better matchup for Chiesa.
I would favour that too.
I just don't think he has the stand-up hands to deal with Woodley at the moment.
The question is, Woodley is obviously, has some amazingly fast and powerful hands, but his downfall really is that he just doesn't throw them enough. Yeah,
I mean, Woodley, before winning the title, he'd see you on the street, you look at him the wrong way, he's going to throw you. He's going to throw hands.
He's going to T-bomb you straight away, no questions asked.
It took nothing for him to start throwing those fists around.
Yeah.
Winning the title, he just didn't want to throw anything anymore. You could run up and push his girlfriend over. He'd be like, "Oh, sorry, mate." Like, he'd apologize.
I was literally imagining like a little old lady with a little walking frame just looking at T-bomb, T-Wood getting T-bombed.
Yeah. Just a big straight cost check. But yeah, he's 100%. He's just not throwing his hands often enough. And when you're a guy like Tyron Woodley, who your number one offensive tool is your stand-up game, if you're not throwing them, you're not going to win fights. It's literally plain and simple.
Yeah. And he barely scraped through in a couple of fights by using that method, being too tentative, being too reluctant. So, look, I would pick by the way that Chiesa's been fighting, I would actually think he has a decent chance.
As you said, I think it. I wouldn't count him out on either. I think it all depends on with Maia whether he can avoid too much time on the ground.
Yeah.
And with Woodley, it's just purely based on what kind of time Woodley shows up. Whether it's Tyrone that wants to actually throw punches, or if he's just going to pick his spots and throw 50 punches in 3 rounds. So it's really one of those things. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
We'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see, but let's get straight into
the main event.
The all-important, the fights that we really care about, Dos. Not that we don't care about the others.
We care. Look, there's a spot in our heart for all of them, but...
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason... Yeah. There's a reason these ones are main card fights and the other ones are fight nights. Let's just put it that way, shall we?
Yeah. And we got things to do as well. Other priorities.
Exactly. Eating Wheat Bix.
You've got to eat Wheat Bix and look after the kids. And I am not sure what I do.
You chase the surf, Dos.
I surf. Or I try to at least.
That's all right.
Go.
All right. I'll share this with you so everyone can see what we are looking at.
Yeah, great.
And we got a sticky pad this week as we're going to
fight picks.
Keep track of our picks.
Yeah, I like this. So what we're going to do now, people, is go through the main card for UFC 257, the event that is Dustin Porier versus Conor McGregor. And we're going to go, what do you reckon, Benno? Bottom to top?
Yeah, we'll go bottom to top. We'll save the big boys for last, shall we?
All right,
they're the ones that we want to talk about. All right, let's run them through them nice and quick. So start the night off with the strawweight women.
Yep.
We've got Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas. Ribas 10-1, Rodriguez 12-1-2. Dos, go.
Well, firstly, I think you got to put some respect on Amanda Ribas's name. She is a beast. I think she is going to get it done. I've been watching her for her last few fights. She is a smiling assassin. She gets it done handedly.
All right, Dustin's gone Ribas.
Yes.
Yes, I was watching a video the other day on Amanda Ribas's rise in the UFC, and she looked great to me. She looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Super slick jits. I see her getting a sub pretty early on. I don't see the fight going distance. I'm going Ribas by sub.
Fantastic. Moving up to the lightweight division.
All right, we got Matt Frivola 8-1-1 against Otman Azatar 13-0.
Tell you what, that's a good record, 13-0. Oh, it's hard to bet against. Actually, I'm gonna go with him, but purely on that factor.
All right, Azatar purely on reputation.
Yeah.
I find it very hard to bet against that as well. I think it takes certain fighters, especially nowadays, to get to double digits undefeated.
Yeah.
So I see that train rolling on.
Let's let it roll.
All right. And then we've got a good little fight here, actually, at flyweight for the women.
Yeah.
As both women, they're just on the edge. They're 6-7, as you can see here. So it's a good fight for them to push themselves up into the top 5, top 4 even.
Yeah.
We got Jessica I, 15-8 versus Joanne Calderwood, 14-5.
Jessica I ranked 6th in the flyweight, and Calderwood ranked 7 in the women's flyweight division. What do we got record-wise? We've got 15. Is that an 8?
15-8 and Calderwood is 14-5.
I'm not going to let that 8 distract me. I actually think Jessica gets it done. She is pretty good.
We did look at this before we started the podcast today, and I's last, she's something like 7-1 or something in her last 8 fights, or 6-1 or something in her last 7, with her only loss being to Shevchenko.
And that's
everyone loses to Shevchenko at the moment. She is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think so. Are we 3? We agree all the way through?
At the moment, we do. I don't know. I'm going to go Calderwood, actually. I don't know why, but when I first saw the matchup, I thought Calderwood.
Did you?
Yeah, straight off the bat, I was like, Calderwood gets this, I reckon.
You're going with the gut then?
Yeah, I got to trust. I got to trust my first instinct.
Yeah,
that was literally first. I saw the matchup. I was like, Calderwood.
Yeah, that's good. Good call. Good call, Ben. Moving up to the men's lightweight division.
All right, now this is where it gets interesting, Dos. We got the Aussie Pride. We love him. Dan Hangman Hooker, 20-9, good record.
Can we call him an Aussie?
Mate, if we adopt Russell Crowe and Keith Urban, I'm sure we're taking Dan Hooker.
He's an Aussie today. Let's do it.
That's it. For this purpose, he's an Aussie.
Yep.
Against former Bellator champ, I believe.
Yeah, Michael Chandler. First fight in the UFC, 21-5. Mate, this is a really, really interesting matchup to me.
It is, yeah. I found picking between these two really hard. Really hard.
Yeah. And let's nut it out a little bit here, because I think to form a conclusive opinion, we need to kind of weigh up a couple of things. Dan Hooker has the height and reach advantage.
Huge reach advantage. About 9 centimeters.
Yeah. So pretty significant. He's also slightly younger. So he might have father time on his side.
Yeah.
Now, if we look at Dan Hooker's record so far, it's been pretty damn good. It's been pretty sensational. There's a reason they call him the Hangman. And if you look at at the fact that he's even beaten people like Gilbert Burns, who are now contending for the welterweight title.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up his previous fights now. So last year he lost to Porier.
Yes.
But that was by decision over 5. Beat Paul Felder, decision over 5.
Yep.
Beat Ally Quinta, decision in 3. Knocked out James Vick. Lost to Barboza.
Yep.
Beat Gilbert Burns, who's now ranked, the number 2 welterweight he defeated. In the first round knockout as well.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Jim Miller by knockout in first round.
Yeah.
Mark Diakesi, submission in the 3rd. Ross Pearson, TKO in the 2nd. So there's some veteran names there that he's...
Yeah, people like Ross Pearson, Jim Miller. Diakesi was an up-and-comer, and if you looked at him 2 or 3 years ago, he looked like an absolute stud. I thought he was going to break out and be one of the next stars. But Dan Hooker put an end to that. I see Dan Hooker's striking to be probably some of the best in that division. He trains with the City Kickboxing crew, and he's training with big, massive dudes like Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
So his training buddies are very good. They're the best of the best. So I think that he's going to be able to use his range really, really well. And as long as he can stuff the takedown, which a lot of the City Kickboxing dudes are very good at as well as takedown defense, if he can stuff the takedowns from Chandler, I think he wins all day long on the feet. I think he lights him up.
Yep.
If anything, if there's challenge, it would be something like when Chad Mendes fought Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was the better striker. Chad Mendes had the takedowns, and when he was able to take him down, he was able to do the damage.
Yeah.
Chandler was a champion for a reason. If it goes to the ground, Chandler might be able to do enough damage there that it either stops the fight or it goes to decision in his favor. What are your thoughts, Benno?
These were the issues that I came up with trying to analyze this. Was very similar. I looked back and I was like, all right, Dan Hooker, as we saw before, he's fought a lot of legit guys recently.
Mm-hmm.
And even that fight with Porier, he was 4-9 on takedowns against Porier, and Porier was 1-7. So he stopped a lot of takedowns.
Yeah.
The volume in punches was pretty consistent as well.
Yeah.
And to go 5 rounds with Porier is no mean feat by any means. The guy's in a really good patch at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think training with... The thing that swayed me is, and you touched on it briefly, was I think the team he trains with is a huge advantage for him. I think training with bigger, heavier guys that have long limbs like him, I think will only benefit him against Chandler, a slightly shorter guy, because all his sparring's done with finding range, right? Keeping range. And I think I feel like 10 centimeters is going to be too much.
Yeah.
Because that's 10 in the arms as well. That's not necessarily in the legs. So when we factor in legs, it can be even more.
Looking at their stare down, or looking at their recent stare down.
Yeah.
He's a fair bit taller than him.
He's about 8 or 9 centimeters taller.
I think so. And here's the other thing to consider, Benno, is that Dan Hooker also has people like Kai Kara Francis, Brad Riddell, and obviously the champion in the featherweight division, Alexander Volkanovski. He's got access to all these guys. And if you're wrestling someone like Alexander Volkanovski for practice, someone like Michael Chandler might be easier to nullify because you've had that practice with someone that's pretty similar sort of build.
A similar build, like that lean, quick, strong base that a lot of those good wrestlers, like you said, like Chad Mendes have. Those real strong core wrestlers that once they get a hold of you, they got vice grips. I think that's kind of what swung me towards Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at it a lot in similar things like John Jones, even DC, when DC with his training camps, like training with guys like Cain Velasquez and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think training with guys that are bigger than you only makes you better when you fight guys that are your size or smaller.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because you think, well, it's like anything really. It's like if he's training with guys that have a 6-foot reach and he's now fighting a guy that's only got a 5'10" reach, his natural distance is going to be 2 inches further away than what that guy's throwing, right?
Yeah.
Just based on pure muscle memory, he's going to be like at least 2 inches or something further away.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, if he can stop it, if he stops the takedowns, I think Hooker gets it done. And I actually think he can finish it.
It's so tough. Hooker showed so much heart
it didn't
in that Felder fight.
Remember when he fought and the Porier fight as well.
Both absolute wars. So it also brings into question, like, is his chin still going to be good? Look, Chandler has fought some absolute beasts too. He's fought, former champions like Benson Henderson. He's had the wars with Eddie Alvarez. Like, he's not a slouch, and I think he's got something to prove, and that is a dangerous thing for anyone
100%.
that's coming up against that.
100%. Yeah, I found this so hard. This was probably the toughest matchup for me to pick.
Yeah.
Because I think Michael Chandler, because on the flip side, it's like Michael Chandler's got good stand-up. He is a former champ, so he knows what to do to win fights. And he's got a really good camp as well. It's just a case of if he can close that distance, I think is going to be the big one.
That's the question on everyone's lips. I agree, and I say Dan Hooker, if he can keep it standing and stop the takedowns, has got it. If he can't and Chandler can get the takedowns, it's his.
Yeah. All right. So what am I locking in for you, Dosh? You going Hooker?
Lock me in for Hooker because I think he'll stop the takedowns.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm in there too. All right. The big one.
Yep. The big boys.
We've got Dustin, the Diamond.
Dustin.
Porier.
Yes.
And Big Mac. Big Mystic Mac McGregor.
This is going to be awesome.
It is. I just need to start off by saying I'm like a lot of people. I love Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I like his persona, and I like what he's a guy that he could literally fight a cardboard box, and he'd make it interesting, and you'd want to watch it and be like, I mean, that box looks tough though, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like, he'll sell it to you in a way where you're like, actually, I will pay money to watch this.
Yeah.
He's that type of guy. He's just the charisma that he oozes is infectious.
Yeah.
And just everything about him. He's a mix of like Tony Montana, Scarface, and just fucking Peaky Blinders. He's just mental. I love it. I love him. He's the guy that would come to your barbecue and push you off the grill to take over. That's him.
Totally. He would do that.
But you wouldn't argue with it. That's what I'm saying. You'd be like, oh, yeah, no, you're right, Conor. Yeah, no, I reckon those steaks are done. But if you don't think so, that's all right.
I'd throw a cardboard box at him if you did that to me.
Yeah, I love it. I think this fight's going to be huge.
Yes.
I think I've seen a lot of disrespect put on Dustin's name.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where it's coming from. I think a lot of people are just thinking it's going to be like the first fight.
What do you think, Benno? Do you think it'll be like the first fight?
I do not at all, actually. I don't. I think Porier, if you look at Porier in the first fight with Conor, to the Porier recently, he's a totally different fighter.
Well, look at who he's beaten. Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway.
Yeah, he's literally fought the top dudes non-stop.
So he's
beat arguably. So he's beat. Sorry, Dos.
You go.
He's beat arguably the GOAT featherweight in Holloway. If Holloway gets a win over Volk, right?
Yeah.
He's beat two of the top lightweight prospects, Gaethje, interim champ, and Dan Hooker, who's a top prospect. He's like, I mean, no one looks good against Habib, so we'll just forget that about him. But I just think he's a totally different animal. A totally different animal to the first fight. I think it's just hard to not get caught up in McGregor mania when it happens.
It's a real thing, isn't it?
It really is. Like, you just see his name and then you see the highlight reels. Yes, it's been 12 months since he came out and head kicked Cerrone and beat him to a pulp. But yeah, I think this is actually going to be a really, really good fight. I think it's going to go about 3 or 4 rounds. Me personally, that's what I'm thinking.
Right. So then after the 3 or 4 rounds, how does it end?
All right. I'm going to paint you a picture.
Go. Please do.
Round 1, bell rings.
Yeah.
Conor, gorilla stance, starts the fight.
Yep.
Crawling across the mat.
I like it.
Hurls abuse at Dustin. Dustin looks at him, confused, doesn't know what to do. Do I head kick him? What happens? Do I jab him? I don't know. Conor. Slick as always.
Was Dustin saying this out loud?
No, in his head. Mental bubble.
Okay.
Yeah, mental bubble. And then, I think Conor comes out first round volume as per normal.
Yep.
Head kicks, body kicks, punches, the works. Just sheer volume for overwhelming attack, really. The thing for me, and you saw it in the Cerrone fight, because I see Porier and Cerrone as sort of similar fighters to a degree, where if Dustin gets rocked or even slightly, just that, that kind of 1.5 seconds of dustiness where a fighter goes, oh, geez, that hurt.
Yeah.
If he hits that, if Conor hits him with a punch or a kick or anything that does that to him, I think he's in real trouble, because McGregor's on you like a bad smell as soon as that happens.
Just like a shark smelling blood.
Straight away. You look back at all of his fights, it's that little 1.5 seconds where he knows his history with the good one and he's following straight up. If Dustin can weather that storm, though, I think, and take Conor, even if he gives up the first 2 rounds, just plays it safe, picks his shots, just plays at distance, lets Conor throw volume and doesn't get caught, though, gives up the first 2 rounds. If he takes him to the 3rd and 4th, I think Conor will probably gas out slightly, and I think that's where Dustin can really start to, if he's conserved himself enough, can then start to counterpunch. Because we see, once it gets to the 3rd and 4th, Conor's hands drop normally, and he starts throwing more kind of powers as opposed to combos.
Yep.
So I think that's the way it can go. 3 or 4, I do think Conor wins.
Yep.
If it goes to 5, though, and there's not a finish, I think Porier can actually win it on points.
Ooh. Okay. I like it.
That's the way I see it. Mentally, if I'm Dustin's coach, I'm saying, Dustin, let's keep the first 2 rounds close enough that they could go either way, right?
Yep.
And then just pick your shots. Just pick your shots. I mean, Conor can throw a million punches if he wants. If they're not landing, they're not really scoring any points. But let's just drag him. Let's drag him into those later rounds. Let's get him into the 3rd. Let's get him to the 4th. And then let's just slowly ramp it up each round. Just get his gas tank. Because we know McGregor doesn't have the best gas tank. We know that. We've seen it.
Yeah.
So I think that for me would be Dustin's game plan, is exhaust the gas tank and then just start piling the pressure on round after round.
Yep. But does he do it? That's
the thing. I think if he can play that game plan, I think he gets it done. And as I said, I think if he can get it to full 5, I think he can win on points. My brain, though, my first instinct when I saw this fight is McGregor TKOing in the 3rd.
In the 3rd, okay. These are very specific calls.
Yeah. I have very, very vivid dreams, Dos.
I had some weird dreams last night that were vivid, but probably not suitable for this channel.
Maybe for an MA late night version.
Yes, MMA.
Unrated.
Okay.
Thoughts.
I hear
I've just gone on like a 10-minute tangent.
I get it, and I hear you. I get it. I know what you mean. The mania is real. Particularly after watching Conor's movie the other night. I watched Notorious like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was just like, even despite all of the theatrics and all the things that he's done, like punching old dudes, not cool. But it depends. But I think what's cool about that instance was the old guy just took it and just didn't even give a shit.
Yeah, I know. It was the best. He's kind of shrugged off. He's like,
He was like,
such an Irish moment.
So Irish. But I watched the movie and I was like, man, he really has like a power for prediction. He just visualizes everything and makes it happen. And
he's the embodiment of
ultimate self-belief. And you put positive vibes out, that's what's happening. But it's not even just that. It's like his work ethic. You watch the movie, his work ethic is so good.
Yeah.
And then obviously Dustin, I don't know if you ever saw, what was it called? Fightland? Dustin Poirier's documentary?
I think it was something like that, yeah.
I think it's called Fightland. They filmed it a few years ago. I watched that recently. He's been in the game for years. He's at his prime now. I think this is his best shot This is his best shot right now. But does he get it done? I think that Conor has a psychological edge over him based on their last win, their last fight.
Yep.
And I think they have both, yes, Dustin has improved. No denying that at all. But so has Conor. And I don't think Conor has really had a chance to really showcase it. He had just over 40 seconds in the ring with Donald Cerrone, and he looked phenomenal. I think I really do buy the idea that Conor's going to get this done first round. I think he's going to come in, he's going to pour it on.
Just sheer volume.
And he's going to do it in spectacular fashion. And Dustin will retire into the sunset, and right up into the sunset, a very wealthy man. His foundation has had donations and all that from Conor McGregor, and he will do great things outside of the out of UFC. I just don't think that he gets to the gold strap.
This is it. This is Porier's moment.
This is it. If, however, here's what I'll say, Benno. If, however, he can keep the volume high, avoid the power shots of Conor, and take it into those 4th and 5th rounds, because we did see it in both the Max Holloway fight and the Hooker fight. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Was the Hooker fight a 5-rounder, or was it just 3?
Yeah, 5 rounds. No, 5 rounds.
It was a 5-rounder. And he just, in those last 2 rounds, he really just dug deep.
Yeah.
And was just landing shots. And I think when you start landing shots on McGregor, like we've seen it before, when he starts having shots really landed on him, it's just like his gas tank can't keep up. And I think what we end up seeing, Ben, is something that looks a little bit like Rocky versus Apollo Creed in the first Rocky. And I think that he pours it on like Rocky against Apollo, but he doesn't quite get it.
Yeah.
So it goes to decision, and he still just misses.
Just behind, 3 rounds to 2 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That's my prediction. So put me down for McGregor, either first round finish or 5th round decision.
McGregor, I mean, I kind of threw out two avenues for mine.
Yep.
But I did say that my first instinct was a McGregor knockout victory of some description.
Yeah. So there you have it, people.
Basically, we are for the same. We've only differed on Jessica I and Joanne Calderwood, essentially, there, Dustin.
Yeah. Either way, this whole card is going to be lit AF.
Yes. It's going to be huge. It's got huge implications as well for the entire lightweight division.
Yeah.
Really.
Think about this, Benno. What if in that co-main event, Dan or Chandler puts on a performance that outshines the main event? They're possibly in the conversation for the title fight.
Well, that's it. I mean, we did talk about this recently, Dos, of what is the title picture? Yeah. What are they doing with the lightweight? Are they having 2 guys fight for the interim? Are they just waiting to see what Habib actually wants to do? What's going to happen? So for all 4 of these guys, it's a huge opportunity to put their hand up and say, yeah, me, title, let's go.
Yep. Habib is making his decision on Sunday. So
he has come out and said if he sees something that he likes, he may fight again.
He needs to see something special, he said.
So, I mean, these 4 guys, it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch.
Here's a curveball hypothetical for you. So,
okay, go.
Khabib, he's beaten Dustin.
Yeah.
He's beaten Gaethje. He's beaten Conor.
Yes.
Right? What if, and just imagine this, Michael Chandler puts on a clinic against Dan Hooker.
Destroys Dan Hooker.
Destroys him. Puts an end to the hype of the Hooker, the hangman.
Yep.
And Khabib goes, I think that is special enough for me to come back and do a Dagestani wrestler versus American wrestler fight for the title.
Wrestle off.
Yeah. What if?
I mean, that's the thing, Dos. We're going to have to wait and see, aren't we?
That's what I love about this game. You just never know, and it can all change so quickly.
You never know. You never know. It's a game of what ifs at the moment. But we've put our picks in.
What are your picks, people?
Yes. Love to hear from you all. Love to get your thoughts.
Yeah.
We will be back.
We will be back. We'll be doing a recap of this fight starting next week.
This fight card, yes, next week.
So what we'll do, I think this is a good point to say, if you have watched this far and you haven't already liked, subscribed, and shared, then do so. You don't have to do all three. Maybe you just like it. Maybe you don't want to share it, but maybe you do.
Yeah.
And if you do, you have that option. You know, we give you permission.
We do.
We're not ruling this, with an iron fist, but we're just saying, hey, if you want to share it, we'll allow it.
Get out there. I think we're good-looking roosters, Dos. We need to be spread to the people.
Good-looking roosters. Check it out. We've got uniform backgrounds now. We've got our little lights. This is becoming a professional operation.
We're pretty professional. You could say we're getting up there. We're looking for an intern.
I like to think that we're becoming the Hamish and Andys of UFC.
I'll take that money.
In the podcast world. So to the people that are watching, if you haven't already done so, like, subscribe, and share, and drop a comment below to say who you think will win this fight. Will it be Porier? Will it be McGregor?
Yes. Yeah, we want to know. That's the important thing. It's just power to the people, positive vibes. Let's see. I'd like to see some Porier comments in there. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more respect put on Dustin's name, but as we touched on, the McGregor mania, mate, it's very hard to look past.
Yeah, it is, and time will tell. So we look forward to seeing you and speaking with you in the next couple of days. Enjoy the fights. Be excellent. Any last words, Benno?
None from me.
And this has been another episode of Touching Gloves with Ben and Dos. Peace.